Good morning. Welcome to yet another edition of Daily Current Affairs with Sathya sir. This is me, Sathya from IQ Ideas. And I bring you important news articles and updates from a daily newspaper, interesting articles which you can read for improving your general knowledge of current affairs and your reading comprehension skills. And of course, great words of vocabulary to improve your overall command of the English language. So without further ado, let's jump into today's articles. Today, the first page with news is the global page, which has a few interesting things from around the world. The very first big article says Trump asked Zelensky if Kyiv could hit Moscow, says a report. President merely asked a question and has been working to stop the war, clarifies the White House. So that is an interesting update on the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. And according to this report, US President Donald Trump did ask the head of state for Ukraine if Kyiv, the capital, so in short, whether Ukraine had the capabilities to hit Moscow. Okay. Other than that, update on the tariff issues between the US and the other countries. So in the tariff issues, we have the European Union, which is targeting Boeing, Bourbon, and other things as goods and services for potential tariffs on US goods. The next is again an update on the Israel-Palestine conflict in Gaza, where apparently Israel strikes in Gaza, kills 93 Palestinians, according to health officials. Okay. Below that is a news which says US has lifted restrictions on artificial intelligence chip sales to China, according to NVIDIA, a company. Okay, so basic updates on regular news. Coming to the main page of headline, the biggest news, of course, is Shooks makes a big splash. So basically, this is Shubhanshu Shukla and his co-astronauts returning back to Earth from the International Space Station, right? So, Indian astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla ended his space mission with spacecraft Dragon Grace's gentle splash into the Pacific Ocean off the coast of San Diego on 3:02 p.m. IST on Tuesday. Shubhanshu Shukla, of course, is the second Indian ever to be in space and the first Indian astronaut to be on the International Space Station. And he was, of course, one of the four ones chosen for the Gaganyaan mission, India's ambitious project to send human beings to space. So, of course, with his maiden voyage to space, he's much better equipped to be part of the pioneering team of Indian humans who will be making visit to other things outside the ambit of Earth. Okay. The other news headlines, Supreme Court says promoting regionalism as dangerous as communalism and refuses to hear the plea to scrap AIMIM's registration. Okay. There's a statement by the External Affairs Ministry saying it will bring the Pahalgam attackers to justice. Okay. Below that, an interesting news, in fact, heartwarming news. Talks bear fruit, Yemen defers Nimisha's execution. So let us take a look at what exactly the news is. So execution of Nimisha Priya, the Kerala nurse on death row in Yemen for the murder of a Yemeni national, has been postponed following intervention by Indian authorities and religious leaders. And negotiations are underway to save Nimisha, who hails from Kolangod in Kerala's Palakkad. Her execution was scheduled for Wednesday. So execution has been postponed until prison authorities are notified of a new date. So a bit of a concerning issue because the death penalty, one of the extreme penalties which can be ever given by any law, and an Indian national facing the death penalty abroad is always a matter of great concern. So we do hope that the law is upheld, but there is no there are no measures taken which are irreversible. Moving on, the city page, infrastructure and other related news. In the aftermath of the Boeing crash incident, 44 structures in the airport funnel raised. Okay, so that is just an aftermath. and increased safety and security measures being taken for flights. The next city page again has just local news and many of them crime related, so I'll skip. So is the next city page and the state page. We're going to skip all that information. Okay, the nation page, RSS Weekly, go back to the original preamble. Okay, that seems to be an interesting article, especially anything to do with the constitution should definitely be an interesting read for law aspirants, CLAT aspirants. So RSS Weekly, go back to original preamble. Let's see what this article is. So, close on the heels of RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hosabale's call for a review on the continuation of socialist and secular in the Constitution's preamble, words added during the emergency, the Sangh-inspired weekly organizer dubbed the terms as ideological landmines, designed to subvert dharmic values and serve political appeasement, stressing that it's time to undo them and reclaim the original Constitution. Terming the insertion of the two words into the preamble an act of constitutional fraud, an article in the magazine's latest edition said these terms were not mere cosmetic additions but ideological imposition that contradicts the very spirit of Bharat's civilizational identity and constitutional democracy. And I quote, "Let us be clear, no constituent assembly ever approved these words. The 42nd Amendment was passed during emergency when Parliament functioned under duress with opposition leaders in jail and the media gagged." Dr. Niranjan B. Pujar said in the opinion piece titled "Revisiting Socialist and Secular in the Preamble, Reclaiming India's Constitutional Integrity. It was an act of constitutional fraud akin to forging someone's will when they were unconscious," it said. So that's a pretty strong statement being made. Of course, people following the Constitution would know that it was the 42nd preamble, 42nd amendment to the Constitution, which inserted these words, the words socialist and secular. And of course, now there are many controversies, and I think there will be a lot of debate and discussion based on this view. The RSS has always been known for its strong views. And of course, the opposition always had issues with that. Okay, moving on to the next nation page. The Supreme Court has said no conviction doesn't mean it's not a terror act. Okay, that's again something related to law and which I would strongly recommend for the people interested in law and CLAT entrance exam to follow. So what exactly is this? Indicating that an offense cannot be said to be a terror act only if an accused is convicted under an anti-terror law. The Supreme Court on Tuesday said creating an atmosphere of fear to prevent people from taking side of law by killing an army informer is also a terrorist act, despite anti-terror law not being invoked in the case. Very interesting. In an inset in that same news, it says the Supreme Court seeks Uttar Pradesh's response to pleas against QR code in eateries on Kanwar Yatra route. The Supreme Court on Tuesday sought Uttar Pradesh government's response to a bunch of petitions challenging the state's directive to all eateries along the Kanwar Yatra route to display QR code, which on scanning would reveal their food license or registration number, owners' names, and menu. Very interesting. This, if I remember, a couple of years back, again the issue of food eateries belonging to the other community along the route was very much in a controversial news. So let's see what stance is being taken now. The next page is a big health page. And the biggest thing is Indians are now obsessed with protein. But is that a good thing? Nutritionists caution that overloading on protein, especially from processed products, can backfire, leading to weight gain and nutrient imbalances. Okay, so all you gym bros and muscle maniacs out there who swear by protein shakes and powders, this is definitely a news which an article which I would very strongly suggest you read. And I've always said that any time you decide to take on any supplement or medication, it is always very strongly recommended to do so in consultation with experts. Don't just simply blindly follow a trend or the advice of these so-called Gyan gurus or influencers, because everybody is different and many a times irreversible damage can occur to your body if you are not very careful about your intake. So even if you are not sick or something and are simply taking supplements and nutrients to gain mass or build your body, please do so under proper medical advice. Okay. The next again is a nation page where again there is a Supreme Court pronouncement. Time for a law to compensate persons acquitted after a long incarceration. Okay. Couple of words first, which I would very strongly read out from this. One is an acquittal, right? So, what is an acquittal? Just like conviction is when somebody is pronounced guilty, an acquittal is when somebody is pronounced not guilty. And an incarceration is nothing but when somebody is imprisoned for a period of time. So an incarceration is being put in prison. Acquittal is when you are deemed not guilty and released. Okay. So it lays down guidelines for DNA tests is another byline in this. So this definitely should be an interesting read. Other than that, under the same headline, it also says the Supreme Court upholds life term for murder, but asks governor to consider remission plea. Interesting. Moving on, the next couple of pages don't have any big important articles. The next nation page, 5 years ahead of target, India gets 50% power from clean sources. So those interested in the environment, renewable sources of energy, clean energy, green energy can definitely read this article. Okay, Jaishankar calls on Xi, briefs on improvements in bilateral ties. The External Affairs Minister is on a 2-day visit to China, his first since 2019. Great. So India and China, the two biggest powers in Asia, should definitely be having good relations, at least when it comes to economy. And let's see how well this particular meet goes. Now we come to my favorite page, the middle page, with a lot of interesting opinion articles. The top article is by Arun Gupta, who is the convener of Nutrition Advocacy in Public Interest and former member of PM's Council on India's Nutrition Challenges. The article reads, GOI be crunchy about munchies. Homegrown snacks aren't healthy, but what explains the government's soft peddling on front of pack labeling for pre-packaged food? Is it batting for big business or consumers? Okay, so people interested in the consumer protection, in labeling of safe food articles and other things, I would definitely strongly recommend that you read this particular viewpoint. Below that, India and China, two can't wango. It's all chess moves. Okay, so this is an article by Rudranil Ghosh, which says Jaishankar met Wang. New Delhi will know Beijing's medium-term approach will depend in a large part on whether she manages to get another term in 2027. So those who are interested in Indo-Chinese issues in geopolitics, in international trade, will definitely be reading that. As we take a look at the left three columns, same story, new cast. Gen Next Netas are leading Bihar Assembly contest, but it's still all caste and faith. Okay, so that's an update, an opinion article on the upcoming Bihar polls. Below that, Tesla too late. Musk's EV electric vehicle is here finally, but starting production in India 10 years ago would have served him better. Opinion article on the recent news about Tesla coming to India. And then Jag Surya's humor column second opinion of Quit India. The bugbear of brain drain has resurfaced, but its causes need questioning. Jag Surya's column has always been a great read for humor, and I would definitely recommend that you do so. The Times special page, in these Jharkhand schools, the sole teacher is also guard, clerk, kitchen manager. The state has over 8,000 single teacher schools, some with more than 100 students across grades. Along with different curricula, teachers have to juggle multiple roles. That's a very, very concerning bit of information on the sorry state of affairs of primary level education in many areas. So definitely go ahead and read it. There's a techie page, Gen AI Diaries, how the next wave builds. Okay. AI Appreciation Day celebrated today on 16th of July. Oh, that's great. Today is AI Appreciation Day. Let's keep a note of that. Okay. So 16th July is Artificial Intelligence Appreciation Day. So it says AI Appreciation Day, celebrated today, 16 July, offers a timely lens on how artificial intelligence is quietly reshaping daily work. While headlines often dwell on billion-dollar breakthroughs, the real revolution happens at keyboards and lab benches, where young technologists experiment, refine, and occasionally fail fast. We asked early career engineers and product leaders to spell out exactly how AI accelerates their projects, what they still do by hand, and what skills they now prioritize. One thing is abundantly clear: AI tools are being used extensively, becoming standard kit rather than optional extras in their workflows. So I do remember a couple of days ago in one of these sessions, I had mentioned that many students these days are concerned with the rapid growth of AI and are also concerned about how it is seemingly taking over many professions. And one top question, which comes from both students and parents as they talk with us for potential career paths, is which careers are safe from being taken over by artificial intelligence. So this particular entire article is definitely going to answer some of those questions. The other important articles are Don't Be Constrained by the Tech Limitations of Today and How Engineers in India are Helping Transform a Global FinTech. So those interested in technology, do read all the articles on this page. The next page is the business page, where it says the RBI governor signals there's room for rate cut as inflation drops. Okay. Then there is an article, India will see $25 billion in IPOs over a year. The Supreme Court has said companies can file criminal case against fake product sellers. Okay. Tesla sets foot in India with a 61 lakh rupee Model Y. At 6.7%, Kerala had the highest retail inflation rate in June. And trade deficit at 4-month low, goods exports flat. Many, many interesting articles for those interested in business, economics, finance, and so on. We have the sports page, Jadid, and that seems to be an update on all cricket-related news. Of course, there is this test match going on between India and England. So Jadeja lasts the distance again. Often dismissed as a utility player, veteran all-rounder, shows he still has a lot of cricket left in him. Okay. India wears a settled look in spite of heartbreak at Lords. Okay. Okay. So a lot of news and updates for cricket fans. The next sports page seems to be a mix of things. India plans to send second-run team to Hockey World Cup. India has planned to send its second best men's hockey team to the FIH World Cup in August next year. The decision has been influenced by the limited competition window between the World Cup and the Aichi Nagoya Asian Games, a qualifying platform for 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Because at the Asia, winners in both men and women category get an automatic berth for the Olympics. Strategic. Below that, we have the update of Shuk's mission validates India's astronaut training. Interesting. And finally, with impressive gains, Mumbai and Delhi rank among world's best in student cities rankings. Interesting. So, a lot of great, interesting articles today and updates on events happening around the world. Of course, the biggest thing dominating my news is Sudhanshu Shukla coming back safely from the International Space Station. The interesting article today, which I would be reading, is, of course, all the middle pages, the entire techie page about AI, and of course the news about RSS's opinion of going back to the original preamble and taking back the two words inserted through the 42nd Amendment to the Constitution. So that's all for today. If you have liked this, do hit that like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. This is me, Sathya, signing off for today. Wish you all the very best and